Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to help us mark this 150th year of Adnams in Southwold. My great-great-grandfather came to Southwold in 1872 with his brother and bought into the brewery that was already here. Being part of the family, I grew up believing I'd come and work with the company, and I have done now for 48 years. I joined as an apprentice brewery engineer. Back in those days, Adnams was a very different company, very, very small. We probably brewed about 25,000 barrels of beer. Over the years, we've grown tremendously. We now brew over 100,000. We have a distillery, we make vodka, we make gin, whiskey. We have a wonderful wine department and retail shops. So, no, I have tremendous pride in seeing that growth and development.
So I started my journey at Adnams as cleaner in 1988, and I have seen so many changes.
I think when I joined, the brewery was very much a Victorian brewery, so lots of really old equipment. So there was a huge amount of investment.
30 years ago, a customer just wanted a bitter, a broadside and a seasonal. I think what has changed dramatically across the years is that customers now do want more choice.
We are willing to try new yeast strains, new hop varieties, and we're willing to put things out and let people decide whether they like them or not. Trying new things led us to try Ghost Ship, and that works. I think we're always aware that we always have to be looking for the next new flavour, because if we don't, well, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
That progressive approach has just always been there, that desire to innovate and not be afraid to fail.
The work that we've done on our watch, the complete refurbishment and rebuilding and installation of a new brewery, the installation of a distillery, the rebuilding of our distribution infrastructure out at Raiden, these were all landmark projects.
So our site at Raiden, we built this amazing building 15 years ago that had minimal impact visually, so you can hardly see it from the road. It uses very little energy.
That was such a fabulous building and so represented what Adnams is all about. Trying to do the right things in the right way and not being afraid.
That building cut a first in very many areas, particularly for an industrial warehouse building. We actually had to help the guy who wanted to invent the blocks. We had to lend him the money to make his machine to make the blocks. That's how far it was ahead of its time.
It's a really special site up there, and we're certainly changing the way we think of the bit we don't use. Actually, we are using it. We're capturing carbon, we're managing to increase biodiversity. We've got our bees up there.
Sustainability for Adnams, it's key to everything we do, is in our psyche.
If you live and work on the Suffolk coast, you see the impact of climate change out of the window. The sea is on our doorstep. We rely on natural products and natural resources.
Energy recovery in particular was part of all our thoughts in terms of production.
When we renewed the brewhouse, we put in an energy recovery system which basically captures steam that's coming off during the kettle boil, and that saves about 30-35% of our gas usage a year. We've also tried to make sure we recover as much water as possible.
And of course, another aspect of keeping down your carbon footprint is to use local suppliers in everything that comes into the business.
We take it really seriously. I think the lightweight bottle is a really interesting one because it's typical of what we can do, in that we will make an improvement, we will innovate, and so we lightweighted our bottle in 2007 and then again in 2015. And what that did, that drove a change of behaviour across the whole industry. So then everybody else started. We've done a lot and we're doing even more around logistics. We've always had an electric van delivering out of Southwold that's pink but green, and we're rolling out electric vans to all of our shops now as well.
We've chosen to suddenly switch to running on vegetables, which is going to cost even more, but it's the right thing to do.
So I think one of the things I love about Adnams is that we want to produce things, and that's always been important to me. But I think also they want to do the right thing, and I think that phrase has probably been ruined by a lot of other people, but they generally, across the whole company, people come here because Adnams wants to do the right thing. I think it's also really embedded in the community, which I love.
If you're a family business, employing great people to come in and help that business along is vitally important.
Our people are our infrastructure. Without our people, we don't have anything that we can deliver to our customers. So we're always involved with the local community, not just customers, because we're a big part of the local area here. We're not just removed in an office, busy just trying to sell more, sell more, sell more.
Sustainability works best when it's fun, when it makes sense, when it's not too complicated, and there's nothing simpler than a beach clean, getting together, picking up rubbish, making a difference, having a pint afterwards. It's the most accessible, easiest way just to make a small difference. This is what we do.
Well, I think Adnams has had a very strong sense of purpose, that it's here for the long term. But underpinning that are a sense of values as well, and those are treating each other right, about being a good corporate citizen. They are about doing the right things by the environment, and they are sharing the love that Adnams creates with everyone who comes into contact with it.
I'm really excited to be here while we celebrate the 150th. It's a chance for all of us to get together, bring along and enjoy spending some time with some of the people that have helped this business be what it is.
You know, as I and others begin to think about handing this great business that we've had the privilege of leading for many years onto a new generation, we hope we've created the conditions for them to succeed for another 150 years.
I'd now like to ask you all to raise a glass to all Adnams employees, past and present, who have contributed so much to the 150-year journey of Adnams in Southwold. I thank you. Cheers.
Here's to another 150 years.